I got a letter from the government the other day. They opened and read it and said they were suckers. They wanted me for their army or whatever. Picture me giving a damn. I said never. Welcome back. It is Tuesday, $2 Tuesdays somewhere. Get yourself something, because you know what? I'm hyped up today. And I'm hyped up today because you know what? Thinking about it, Chuck D, that was Public Enemy, but Chuck D was the main guy singing or rapping. One of the most influential, best rappers of all time. And never gets his acknowledgments. So I'm going to give it to him real quick right now. That was a song called Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos. Now, I don't know how people look at America now. As you can see the title, Make America Dumb Again. And the reason why I said that and wanted to focus on that is because you go from a place where, let's just go back hundreds of years. You go back to a place of where you have slavery. All right. And so, people will try to redo the narrative and say, well, hey, we weren't the people that bought slaves. Your own people are the ones who sold off slaves and bought them. True. Or sold them. True. But just as people evolve with time, like I remember at one point, I was able to be 8, 9, 10 years old. I could walk to the store and just go and buy cigarettes. But now, of course, in today's time, we can't do that. So over time, things change and they have to change. But let's think about how the change has been when it comes down to, as I always like to say, it's always black and white. And what I mean by that is that no excuses for anything, but I always just try to look at how things go. And so, like I said, going back to even slavery, hundreds of years ago, so we all know kind of what happened, and so I'm not going to bore you with that. Hopefully you know, or have some type of idea, because I know me, I was made to watch Roots for years and years and years. What I will say is this. So you think about that, and then like I've talked before, even yesterday, about being back in the 1960s and the civil rights movement, and a lot of the things that happened there, being chased by dogs. I can't even imagine a person that's a cop that's supposed to help me out or help us out, and I'm being chased by his dog. It's crazy. Or like a water hose, like the fire hose from the fire truck, from the fire department. Crazy. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine yourself, somebody sitting 3 or 4 guys holding a hose and blowing you down the street? Blowing you down the street. So every time I start to think about the regime that's in office now, it gets me to wondering and saying, wow, they talk all this making America great and stuff again, but it actually does stuff to make us dumber or to make us forget where we've come from and where we were, I thought, trying to go. And then, because, I watch the internet a lot, a lot of YouTube and stuff like that. And, you try to and want to respect everyone's opinion. But it's funny how you will hear, and I'm telling you, somebody could comment and tell me, or even send me, the link to a video or whatever, and I'll check it out. But a lot of times it's unbelievable to me how, like, a lot of times black people will take the opportunity to bash other black people. Now, check out what I'm saying here. For the delightment of other races. It's almost like somebody's going to say, hey, yeah, bud, here you go. Here's a free cell phone for you. Here's something for you. Yes, sir. I got you. And it is. It's really disheartening to see. Now, what I will keep in mind is that a lot of these other people on YouTube are a lot younger than me. So they haven't been through certain things. And that's why I think that it is important for people of some age to continue to disseminate information that is helpful, that somebody hears or remembers. Because a lot of times, when you start doing a little better in life, or you start looking at things in a different way, you don't tend to remember what you've been through. And what happens is that even the thing that's going on in DC, then people are allowed to do other things. Do I think, and I've said this before, do I think that a lot of our inner cities need help and need to be cleaned up? Yes, I do. But I also think that there is a good way to go about things where you involve community, you involve the police, you involve different folks. So that way it becomes a shared experience. Because here's the deal: the National Guard, they can't stay anywhere forever. They can't stay anywhere forever. And I think a lot of times in our society, everything has gotten to the point where it's like, all right, just put them away, just lock them up. That's the only way to do things. There's no real ways to throw wealth or, just different things or money at issues to try to have people in better situations. Not just, hey, look, just lock everybody up. No, let's use some more of that money, because I'm sure the National Guard is costing a lot of money for those guys to be out there on a regular basis, right? I'm sure it's costing for the FBI and whomever else that he's deployed to be out there for a lot of stuff. But you ever realize what you never hear about, or you rarely hear about, is from these sources trying to find other employment, or better yet, let me go deeper than that. Where if people want to go to school, you allow them to go to school and you don't charge them a bunch of money. And in some cases, let them go to school for free. Because here's the deal. If you got a society that's not dumb, okay, which most people aren't, but if you got a society of people who are getting educated and can do it because it's free, they don't have to drop out like a lot of us did. And they can go and they can finish the right way, not taking 20 years like it took a lot of us. And they could go and handle their business, and they can be a productive part of society. So, John F. Kennedy was the first one. President Kennedy was the first one back in 1961 to come up with an executive order for affirmative action. And then President Lyndon B. Johnson followed it up in 1965 and did another executive order. And these executive orders were things that really help people to say, hey, listen, you can't discriminate on hiring because of this. You can't discriminate on allowing somebody to come in or get a specific type of scholarship because of this reason or that reason. You have to try to embrace everybody and not just basically, in my estimation, have race nepotism, where you just want to hire who you want to hire. But once again, something with this administration, we all know what the DEI thing, it doesn't matter what name, whatever you put behind it, people are going to find a way to try to work around it so that they can do what they want to do, or they can hire who they want to hire, or they can accept who they want to accept. And that's where it's dumb. Because guess what? And it's funny how you'll have people talk about, oh, well, black people lazy. Black people need to do this. In some cases, I totally agree. But how about this? If you have a situation where you have, I'll just give you for instance, and you can double check my numbers on this. You got 500 Fortune 500 companies that are the elite of the elite and that run this country. How many of them have black CEOs? Now, the last time I checked, maybe a half a year ago, there were 8 out of 500. So what does that say? People aren't qualified enough. These Americans are too dumb. They're dumb. No. They're just never getting opportunities. Why aren't they getting opportunities, you say? Well, because they're not given opportunities. Well, how can you say that they're not given opportunities? Because, such as because none of them look, or very few of them look like me, or look like that other race, or sometimes this other race. And Jillian Michaels was on CNN, and I had watched it, and she said something about, because you can also go back to that, I don't want to misquote her, the fitness guru, and she was saying something about like how slavery, and once again, just me paraphrasing, slavery was then, and fewer than 3% of people or white people in this country ever owned slaves and everything like that. Cool, I get it. None of us were around when slavery happened. But we are still around when all of this stuff is happening. All right. I don't have to look outside and determine whether it's sunny or raining. It's either sunny or rainy, if that's what it is, or cloudy. And that goes for any of us. We all know what right and wrong is. So why do people continue to act dumb? Why do people continue to act like there are not deeper problems to, yeah, we're all upset about a lot of the violence that goes on in the city. But how long do you think it's going to be because you can't lock up everybody, right? You can't kill off everybody. So how long is it going to go on where the government or whomever else thinks that, oh no, these people are just dumb. These people are just poor and dumb. Because they don't have to say it, y'all. You can read between the lines if you're smart enough. You can read between the lines and tell. When is it going to change? When are people going to be like, hey, look, you know what? Here's a better idea. Before we start locking everybody up and trying to kill everybody off, let's try to do some other things. Let's try to go another way and figure this out where we try to help people, where we try to, and I'm not just talking about help as far as Section 8 and food stamps, and people think that that's the end all to be all. No, that's just a beginning for some people, unfortunately, that need that to be able to live. But that doesn't mean that you have to have them live off of that for the rest of their lives. That does not mean that you don't encourage and supplement and have programs to uplift these people while they're doing that. Because let's face it, all of the wealth, a bunch of the wealth is with the top 1 to 5% of the people in this country. So what's that say about the other 95%? The other 95% of people are just dumb. The other 95% of the people just don't have the skills to pay the bills. No. We get it. That's the way life works. Sometimes, you get people that are richer than others, especially like boneheads like me who order off Amazon every day. And that's not to say that anybody else is there, but I'm just saying I don't order every day. But I'm just saying to you. So we are also a part of the cause. And that's what I always talk about. Even though there are things that you have nothing to do with, ultimately, when you live in a country or a grouping of people, you have to take some accountability for some of the things that go on. So Jeff Bezos and the gang didn't just get rich off Amazon from you, from me too. Because what he do? Him and his company found a great way to work things out. Hey, listen, cut out the middleman, cut out the mom and pop stores. We're just gonna send direct to consumer. Anything you want. You need to find a pair of New Yorker style shoelaces. For those that don't know, they're the fat shoelaces. Oh, you want to find those old sneakers you haven't had in years? You want to find it? Oh, yeah, come right here. So, when you start hearing these people talk and you start wondering about different things, ask them. Say, who do you think is the dummy? Because I'm not dumb. I don't think a lot of other people are dumb. And the thing is that even with our complaints, we need to still have a certain amount of awareness. We still need to understand that, hey, look, that's just how life is. Some people are going to be rich. We get it. Some people are just going to be in the upper 5 or even 10% or 20%. We get it. But we still don't have to be fooled to think that living a good, decent life cannot be obtainable just because we're not rich. But make sure that you respect us because we're also not dumb. You ever had a person or work around a person or be around a person and somebody's condescending towards you, or somebody acts like, because you probably don't know, or you probably never been aware of. Yeah, okay, if we talking some computer science stuff, okay, you could do that. But for other stuff, Ask me first. Show me the respect first. But that's just my little 15 minutes of fame talking about it. You tell me how you feel. I want y'all to start commenting more in the comments to let me know too. Oh, and also too, we got those two $50 giveaways since we did get over 300. So I always keep my word. And even though most of y'all forgot. And so we are going to do that. Most likely we're going to do that next Friday. So just tune in and I'll tell you exactly how we're going to do it. All right. For the two $50 giveaways. But hey, until then, all of you whiz kids out there that aren't dumb, live life. Don't let life live you.